Hi guys, welcome to another movie crew review. Today we'll be reviewing Captain America: A Brave New World.
The movie stars Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, and Danny Ramirez.
So in the fourth installment of the Captain America series, we follow on from Falcon and the Winter Soldier as we find Anthony Mackie's Captain America taking on new threats such as a mind control from the previous installment of the Hulk film that was from 2008. It was quite an interesting film with Harrison Ford, and he plays the president and reprises his role as Thaddeus Ross that was previously played by William Hurt. So I'm going to start off this review today, and I thoroughly like all of the superhero films, and I really enjoyed this one. I think Marvel went a bit off course in the last few years and got a bit overcomplicated with TV shows and everything like that. So this had a nice feel to it. I think watching the film, I had enough information from what was happening at the start and the end to give me context, so I didn't need to go back and watch it. So if you do watch it, you don't need to, do a 29-hour recap on all the Marvel films up to this point. I think they give you enough context, and if you're listening for it, you'll find out who these new characters are that you may not be exposed to. I think that Anthony Mackie as Captain America is quite a nice role. Something that I enjoyed from him was that he's not a super soldier, so you get more of the human side of his abilities, and the flying added to Captain America is quite nice, and new vibranium wings and suit. It's pretty cool. I think that Danny Ramirez as the Falcon, he's probably the comedic part for me. I found him quite good throughout the film for the bits he's in, and he makes it a bit lighthearted at certain points. Got Isaiah Bradley returning from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that his character, it's good to see a bit more. It was very limited in that show and was a bit more closed off, a bit more, turned down and a bit more depressed. I would say that would probably be what I got from that character previously. So I like that. And Harrison Ford, he does a good job as Thaddeus Ross, taking over from William Hurt. I think it's tall order. It was quite good and long running. So it's good to see that, I think that Harrison Ford's a great actor. I've always liked him in his films, and I enjoyed his performance as the president in this film. He takes a bit of a turn compared to what he usually does. So you get something different where he's trying to reassemble the Avengers as opposed to trying to control them from the outset. He's trying to build them up, but mainly for a force for America. So it makes sense in some respect. His motives are pretty on par with what he is like as a character throughout the MCU. But I think that the storyline's good. It's not an overly long runtime, about 2 hours. Only one end credits scene right at the end. And you've got some characters coming back from the actual Hulk film, which is quite nice. I found that to be something good. So more a case if you want to catch up, if you want to be really in depth with what's going on, I would probably say for this film to watch The Incredible Hulk and Eternals, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's if you want to be like versed up on it. They're the three main things to catch up on. Otherwise, it gives it all to you in the film. So the action was good. Giancarlo Esposito did a great job as Sideswipe, and he does a great action fighting scenes, and that's probably the majority of the close-up action that we see, other than the fight scene with Captain America and Red Hulk. But yeah, overall, good restart to the MCU for 2025. So yeah. Mary?
So the best part of the movie, I would say, is it's compact. It's like, it doesn't feel like it's another Marvel movie where the world is ending or the beam is up floating in the sky. It's compact, it's small, and it's sort of like a mystery in the beginning. And that's what I appreciated about the movie. And Anthony Mackie, I think, did a good job. So he has to fill in big shoes like the character Sam. And there were a couple of small moments dotted out throughout the movie that why he should have taken the serum much easier, but he didn't take it because he's human. So that I appreciated as well. The movie sort of I would say halfway through, like when the sort of who the villain is revealed, and it's just downhill from there. Villain was pretty weak and doesn't add much. It's just another crappy villain. And yeah, so when the sort of the mystery is revealed, I mean, it's not much of a mystery anyway. And then I just lost it. I was like, yeah, that's it from me. Yeah, that's from me. Yeah, Cameron?
Yeah, I agree with Moon. I think what this movie did well was keep itself grounded and kept itself more compact as opposed to the last couple of Marvel movies we've had to watch. I think shining the light on Anthony Mackie's Captain America was really well portrayed. I think the difference was great, like showing the human side as opposed to like pretty much every other hero is like either super or has powers. So it was really nice to see just the human side and the aspect and the struggles he goes through and filling those big shoes of Steve Rogers and how he's always conflicted of should he have taken it, should he not have? Like, I think that was well done throughout the movie. But I agree with Moon as well it's the standard sort of generic Marvel movie where the villain is just there to help the movie go along. I think it wasn't a very strong villain. And then you got the end with obviously Red Hulk appearing and that becoming sort of just a big fight scene to encapsulate the movie. It fell a bit short, but I did think Harrison Ford did a great job. But then again, we've seen him as a president multiple times and he's done a great job. So he's pretty much rehashed that. So it was not a surprise to me, especially knowing that. But yeah, I think compared to the last couple, I think this is done well. I really appreciated being grounded as opposed to a grand, confusing, convoluted thing. But the thing that surprised me the most, they hark back to Eternals and the 2008 Hulk movie, which I feel, just for me, they're very weak movies, and just to shoehorn them in, I suppose, to get the Red Hulk, you need sort of that connection to the Hulk movie. But then, after, I don't know how many years, we finally addressed the big elephant in the room, or the big freaking Eternals thing in the ocean. We finally addressed it. I feel like every other Marvel movie is just beaten past it, just gone, yeah, that sort of happened, but who cares? But this one, it was like an epic, a main thing. But yeah, I really appreciated I think the aerial fight with the jets and Falcon and Captain America were really good. I thought that was shot really nice. And that gave it that Falcon feel.
Yeah.
And obviously Captain America flying around. I thought that was really done well, and it's supposed different because you don't really see that much because, you know, they're usually flying and big bangs but this was more like very subtle and low impact, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, the only thing that I was surprised about more than anything else was the Ruth character, the head of security. Yeah. I honestly thought she was going to turn out to be more of a villain than what, you know, how she ended up being. So that was probably like something that I was expecting that didn't happen and surprised me. Because I was just, I don't know, she came across as just like real tough, real stern.
She had that face, you know.
Yeah, exactly. She just had that look to her that she's like going to be the mastermind, and then, you know, switch it over, which was, at least I didn't spoil it in the trailer. That's all I'm thinking is that in terms of the villain itself, we didn't really see him in the trailer.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really spoil it. You know, if you watch a trailer going into it, you're not going to know everything. And the trailers don't really go too much into like the Centurion head in the water or anything. So it gives you a bit of a surprise. So I think in terms of trailers themselves, Marvel have done probably more of an improvement this time around compared to a lot of their other films. They've left the mystery there. So at least they gave something to be desired. But yeah, I think other than for the action scene, Giancarlo Esposito's character really was like a bit of a throwaway.
What he was
That's the
doing
most generic Marvel thing. Like, even the other Captain Americas, I think, shoehorned another villain in. He was there for 1 or 2 fight scenes and then he's gone. I think Marvel do this a lot with the pillar is the big villain, and the other small villains they've probably shoved aside, other than obviously Spider-Man. But
Yeah. But even like as a potential spoiler, Stern from the Hulk, Incredible Hulk film from 2008, at the time he gets Bruce Banner's blood dropped in his head and then becomes a super genius, and that's what makes him the villain for this film. He doesn't, even like as a mastermind, he still doesn't seem like a villain, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he just, like, I appreciate the concept, but like Sam Mackie like counteracts him every time and just makes it look like, man, it's just an average guy that's like defeated.
Yeah.
As opposed to like somebody who's like a super, there's no menace. Yeah, but the Stern character, I mean, they could have made him more menacing, a bit more, either, hitting him from the shadows to the very end, as opposed to bringing him out in the middle. Because once you see him and once, you come face to face, the mystery A is lost, but B, he's not menacing. And he never was menacing, like even in the originals. He's pretty much a nerd that just became extra smart. It's not like he, Bruce Banner Hulk and, can Hulk or anything like that.
He didn't do much anything, like nothing destructive. He didn't do anything. And to me, just the color palette of the movie was very off. I don't know. I felt
you didn't connect with it. I actually liked it. It sort of had that grainy, old,
I don't mind
like a 90s look.
It kind of reminds me of like, those top secret videos that you watch.
Yeah.
When they try and do a film and they're like showing like top secret video of like Godzilla going in the ocean or something. That kind of grain to it. That's what it reminded me of. I did enjoy the look of it.
I didn't like it.
Compared to previous Marvel films lately, it wasn't so dark and washed out. It was a bit vibrant, something a bit different. Even like when we were in the ocean and we had that aerial scene. If you think about it, it's a lot of blue and a lot of grey just like to wash each other out. But it just looked really nice because you go in the close-ups of the insides of the cockpits, all the different helmets, Captain America and Falcon beautifully reflected off the landscapes, and just felt that was probably like my top scene from that film in terms of the action was that scene. It was just so fast-paced, stuff was happening. I wasn't expecting how the outcome was going to be. Like I didn't think it was going to work out perfect kind of thing. So, yeah.
And just a little nitpick, they had the same flowers planted throughout the whole movie. Even when they went to Japan, the same flowers were at the background. It's like
the cherry blossoms.
Even when in Japan, when they went there, I was like, all right, can we change the scene? But he's like, just make it.
Probably Japan would be the only place, right? I would expect the cherry
I
blossom.
didn't think they would exist in Washington, but
especially at the end of the fight. You know what I mean?
Well, when I watch the trailer, I go, oh, they must be in Japan. And then when they go to Japan, I go, oh, it must be here. But then at the end, they have the big end fight scene in Washington DC, and I go, do they have cherry blossoms?
To be honest with you, right? I know it sounds weird, but you know that Batman versus Superman when they're like, oh, your mum's Martha, my mum's Martha?
Yeah.
When the cherry blossoms came at the end, that's in my head what I was thinking was like, they just needed cherry blossoms here, and they're like, oh, well, we'll be fine.
Yeah. But always to defeat the Hulk is very like, what's the word?
Yeah.
Low. Like it doesn't have any impact because you just got to pretty much calm him down or you got to incapacitate him. Yeah. So it's very anticlimactic.
It is.
In the sense. So you know what's going to happen by the end of it. You know he's just going to sort of talk him out of it. But I mean, that's how you get rid of the Hulk unless you're like super strong. So
yeah, well that's true. It's just, yeah, you know the outcome before you even start the fight. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the post-credit scene was really bad.
Yeah,
it was so useless.
Look, it's probably alluding to something, but do you need to watch it? Not really.
Yeah.
You don't really need to sit through the whole credits. It won't give you any context, really.
Yeah. Alright, guys, we're going to give our scores.
Yep.
Moon, how many shields out of 10?
We gave 6.5 shields out of 10.
John?
7.5 shields out of 10.
Yeah, I'm with John here. I'll give it 7.5 shields out of 10. Alright guys, make sure to like, subscribe, check out our socials, and we'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.